This is a Sega Game Gear. This is a postage scale. This is a Lego robotics module. This is a Connects servo motor. And this is a remote for a 4K TV. And these all have something in common, and that is they all run on batteries. And today we're taking a look at a super awesome item that I am super happy to have, and how it's going to kind of change my workflow, the electronics I use, and hopefully eliminate me having to keep buying more and more of these. There are other items I didn't showcase here. I have like a smart scale that I use, and I'm constantly changing batteries in that thing, probably like once a month, once every other month. And so as I get more and more back into retro gaming, one of the big things that we have with these is, so a Game Gear takes 6 AA batteries, and it's only giving you a couple hours of runtime, most likely, before they die. And typically you run disposable batteries, then you toss them, and then you have to buy more batteries. It gets very expensive, especially today and age. And so I'm looking for a way to kind of streamline that. And it's not just the Game Gear. You could easily say, okay, for the Game Gear, you just need to plug in a Sega Genesis power cable, and then you can just run it powered, tethered. Well, yes, that's true. There's also a bunch of accessories for retro game systems. Things like the older wireless RF controllers. There was a wireless controller for the Sega Genesis, requires AA batteries. The Wavebird for GameCube requires batteries. There are wireless accessories that require batteries, and also all the wireless handhelds. So we've got like the Game Boy Pocket, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance. All of those require batteries, and they did not come native with a rechargeable battery pack. That didn't come until like the Game Boy Advance SP. And so, super excited today. I actually have a Ostation 2 Pro. So if you're unfamiliar with that, this was actually a Kickstarter. It happened, and their funding period only ran for about 45 days, but they actually ended up raising over $2.3 million from between 12,000 and 13,000 backers. So that was super awesome that they got this funded. I believe this was like last year. They started shipping these a few months back, I think like late last year into early this year. And basically what it is you can kind of see here on the box, it's a 3-in-1 smart battery charger. Now, with the Pro unit, they kind of have like this Pro Plus, where they also make their own smart batteries. And these are super cool. I've got 12 and 12 here. So I've got 12 AAAs and 12 AAs. And basically, these have individual cell technology in them. So the charging unit itself can actually detect the health of each of these cells. And the charging unit also works with any conventional rechargeable battery, either AA or AAA. So let's go ahead and get this opened up and take a look at it. And I've never had anything like this, so this is super exciting. When I was younger, and I had like a lot of those handheld systems in our household, I had kind of that unit you would put like 4 batteries in, you'd plug it in the wall, you'd let it charge for like 6 hours, then you come back and you would have some charged batteries. Well, that's kind of how this is, but it's an all-encompassing unit that you can just kind of leave sitting on a table, sitting on a desk. In my case, I actually am going to leave it sitting on one of my shelving units where I have my retro game systems. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. So what's really cool is this has some compartments in it. And so right off the bat here, you're going to see there's a AAA compartment, there's a AA compartment. You drop the batteries in here, and it's got internal motors, and we're going to be turning this on in a little bit and showing you how it works. But basically, you have internal motors that are going to detect the type of battery it is, obviously, and you can kind of see that a little bit on the inside here. They're going to kind of feed down in, and the direction of the battery doesn't matter. So you can drop positive, negative here, and then negative, positive here. It determines all of that, and it has an LCD screen on the front here. And if I'm not mistaken, this also has Wi-Fi, and you can see it is powered through USB-C. That's how it does the charging. But they have a mobile app as well that you can monitor basically the charging status of these. Now, the way this works is you drop the batteries in, and they will go through a charging routine. If you're using the OLite batteries, like we have here, these 1.5 volt smart cells, it will actually show you the health of each cell. And if it detects that they're bad, it will actually drop them in this little tray here. So this is kind of a bad battery tray, so that you know the health of those batteries have degraded. And then once they are fully charged, it drops them into this bottom bucket. And you can see we've got double A's here, and then we've got triple A's here. And this basically tells us, hey, these are our good batteries that whenever our batteries are running low, we can pop them out of like the Game Gear, and we can drop them in the top, and then we can grab good batteries, put them in the Game Gear while the other ones are charging. We're still playing. So super cool. The unit is not really that big at all. A really nice size. So like from a perspective of like the Game Gear, it's pretty much the height of the unit is pretty much the length of the Game Gear. So you can kind of see that there. So pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get some of this package off. We're going to get it plugged in. So you can see we've got a USB-C cable here. And we just have a standard power brick here. And the power brick is a 3 amp. So it's rated at up to 15 watts. So that's kind of the max of what you're looking at drawing there. So we're just going to go ahead and notch that in the back there. And I'm going to get this plugged in, and we're going to turn it on. And there you can kind of see it booting up here. So it's doing its checks. We can go ahead and peel this film off here. There's no batteries in it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to like shift this to the back here. I'm going to tilt the camera so you can kind of see the screen a little better. And then we will drop some batteries in it. So you can kind of see that screen flashing here, basically indicating there's no batteries in it. And so we're going to take, and so these are going to be double A's. So I'm going to lift the back of the unit, and we're just going to drop one in. And then I'm going to drop another one in. And we're going to drop 2 more here. And I did put some varying directions on this. So we close the lid. All right. And after about a minute there, we can see that we've got 2 detected. Now I dropped 4 batteries in. I believe it does 2 double A's at a time and 2 triple A's at a time. So you can kind of see those double A's are in here. And then while we're letting that run, I'm going to go ahead and go back on the screen. It is a touch screen, so you can kind of see the menu here. So there is our power button. This is to put it in sleep mode. We've got a settings, and then we've got our battery status. So that is what everything's running on right now. Let's go ahead and go over to our settings. And so this is the other thing I didn't mention is you can set up schedules. So you can tell it to like not charge at night if you want, or to if the batteries aren't fully charged during the day, or by the time you go to bed, you can tell it don't charge at night, like pause charging, go into a sleep mode, things like that. And so if we go to connection, we can go ahead and turn that on, and you can see this allows you to connect your mobile phone. I'm not going to do that because I'm actually going to not use the mobile app, but I would just want to use the screen on this because I like the idea of just keeping it on my stand where I have my game consoles. and basically just having it more so as a battery maintainer and a battery storage system where batteries run down, we can just pop them in. So we can kind of see that it is still trickling up there. So it's got 8% on the batteries. And while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and drop some AAAs in there. Okay, so we've got our AAAs. We're going to go ahead and just pop this up. And we're just going to drop that straight on down in. So at this point, we've put 4 AA's in and we've put 4 AAA's in. Again, these AAA indicators, the 2 on the left here, they are going to take a minute for it to kind of run those motors, determine that there are batteries in there, and to start dropping those down into the charging station. We do have we put some AA's in first, so I'm interested to see if the AAA's start charging or if they wait until the AA's are fully charged and drop down in. And while we're waiting for that, the other thing I didn't mention yet is that on the side here, there is this little pull down. And if you have an O-light flashlight or like the ambient sphere, anything like that have the magnetic charging base, you can actually just dock them here and they will charge. So I like that as well. I personally don't have any flashlights in the house right now, that if the power goes out, I just kind of have my phone. So I like the idea of actually picking up a couple flashlights and leaving them docked on this. So I do like that kind of folds down and you can dock that. But I do plan to do that in the future. Currently I do not have their branded flashlights, but I do plan on picking some of those up. And I am hearing a little bit of movement. So we can see it does say loading on the battery side over here. So those are dropping down in. And we should starting to see some charge here in a minute. And there we see our battery indicators. So we're going to go ahead and let those charge. And while these are charging, just kind of want to zoom in on this a little bit and show you guys, there is kind of like a charge cycle count on these. So it tells you how many charging cycles that smart cell has gone through. And so that's another neat metric to kind of keep track of, the projected life of these, I believe, is 1,000 charging cycles, which 1,000 may not sound like a lot, but it is a lot. And so this kind of gives you that indicator. And as I mentioned, it does do that health monitor check as well. So if it detects bad cells or anything, those will drop into this bad tray here. And if we zoom out a little bit here, they do include this user manual. And if you open this up, this actually tells you about those different containers. So you can kind of see that this is where you feed them. And then, so the loading compartments are here. And then your charging compartment is kind of here in the middle with your screen. And then your magnetic charging base, which we talked about. Your invalid battery bin is right here. And then your AAA storage and your AA storage. So once they're fully charged, they drop down into the appropriate storage bins there. And while those are charging, we can actually load up the rest of the batteries. These are set up so that you can load 12 and 12. So you can load 12 AAAs and you can load 12 AA's. So that is another reason why we went with that many. So we're just going to go ahead and dock them in there. You can kind of see they're filled up in the front there. And so let's go ahead and dock some towards the back. And like so. So at this point we have, we've got 12 AAAs in there. And we're going to go ahead and put in the other 8 AA's. And again, you can use regular rechargeable batteries in these. You can't use disposable, obviously, because those do not have rechargeable cells in them. But if you have a standard rechargeable battery, an IMH rechargeable battery, you can certainly put that in. And it will recharge those. You won't get as many cycles out of those. I believe it's like between 500 and 800 recharging cycles on this. So they're still pretty good. But if you're looking at buying new batteries and you're looking at the Ostation 2 Pro, I would definitely recommend probably just going with their smart cell technology ones. They're not that much more expensive, and they have that cell monitoring capability, and they're pretty much engineered to work with this machine. And they still are supplying 1.5 volts, so they'll work as direct replacements. So we'll go ahead and notch those in there. So at this point, we do have all the batteries in it. And just as a quick test, I just want to see, since I have the scale out here, we've got 24 batteries in this thing right now. Let's see what it weighs. So it doesn't feel too heavy. And if we go ahead and dock that on there, you can kind of see there, just under 4 pounds. And these are rated to charge, so on these smart cell batteries, it's about 1 to 2 hours for a full charge. You can kind of see these have been charging for 11 minutes. We're sitting at 27% on this one and 25% on this one. And then if you're using a standard rechargeable battery, I think those are rated to charge in like 3 hours. So still pretty good on those ones as well. And then we can see up here on the AA side, they're both detected as 1.5 volts. On the AAA side, you can see it's detected as NIMH, which these are a 1.2 volt NIMH battery. So that is detected exactly how it should be. And if we take a look at these, you can see the cycle life on these is 1,000. So they're projected to last a whole, 1,000 charging cycles, basically. Charge and discharge cycles. All right, we're going to let this sit here, and we're going to let it charge all the batteries, and it should drop them down through. And we're going to just validate that they're all successfully detecting 100% capacity, dropping down in. Our counter should go up here. So I believe this is a good charge counter, like a successful charge counter. And then this is a discard counter of like how many have been discarded. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to let this sit. I'll see you guys back when it is done, fully charged. And I'll let you know my thoughts. It's the next day. I let all of the batteries charge overnight in the unit, and they have all dropped down. Now, when it finished charging, it auto went into a sleep mode, which is cool. Screen turned off. All you do is tap the screen, comes right back on. And if we pull out the battery tray, we can see we've got our 1.5 volt AA's at the bottom here, and the one above it, we've got our AA's. Now, we want to test these and make sure they're good. So we've got a Game Boy Advance here. So this takes 2 AA batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out. Now these trays have basically all the batteries kind of built up behind them. So you can withdraw 2 at a time. So I'm going to do 2. And then I'm going to put this back in. And you might have heard those drop down. There's now 2 more in there. So we can kind of leave those in there. We know that we have 10 of the 1.5 volt AA's in this system right now, and we've got 12 AA's. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop the batteries in here. And then we are going to pop in a game, and we're going to make sure this unit works. So I've got a couple games here. So this is actually Dark Duel Stories, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, without a label on it. And so we're going to go ahead and just turn this on. And there you can see the Game Boy logo and our sound. And it is playing. There's the Konami logo. And it's going to be booting up into the game. Again, standard Game Boy Advance, so no backlight or anything on this. So it might be a little bit hard to see there. But we can see the game is playing. So these batteries are working great. Now, we do want to go ahead and turn that off. And I also have a Game Boy Advance video cart here. So if you're unfamiliar with these were basically TV episodes on a cartridge. So you could pop this in and you could actually watch an episode from SpongeBob SquarePants. In this case, they also had some like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon ones as well. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. This is going to boot up. And we're going to let it get in the menu. You can kind of see that Nickelodeon logo there. And then we will be prompted to select our episode. So we gotta go ahead and hit start. And then we are presented with a menu here, and we can actually turn up the brightness within the video. So this is kind of a cool feature. We're gonna go ahead and hit start, and this should start playing that TV episode. And we can just hit B here. It's going to adjust the brightness a little bit. Might be a little bit hard to see on that camera. But you can see that it is playing. Go ahead and tilt that right there. So it is playing a TV episode. Turn the volume up. So everything is working great with these batteries. It's going to give us some runtime. And really cool thing is when we are done or when our batteries are draining, we can turn the unit off and we can go ahead and just pop the batteries out. And then we can open the storage unit, like I said, on the back, and we can just kind of drop those in. Again, you only need to do these when they're depleted, but in this case, we've only ran them for a couple minutes, and we're going to let them drop in, and it should detect the battery and basically start recharging it. And there we can see it kick in. And so we have basically like 90%, 91% of the battery life is what it initially detected there. And so they shouldn't take too long to recharge. And you can kind of see like that identifier number on each of them kind of going up and down there on the side. So, and then once they are fully recharged, it's going to drop them back down into the unit where they'll be available. Next time we need to use a device, we can just come in and those batteries are drained. We can come in, pull out the batteries, put them in the device, and then take the old ones out of the device and then put them in. They'll recharge while we have fresh batteries for the device. I'm super excited. Again, I am really getting back into the retro gaming scene, trying to build back my collection. Along with that, I've got a bunch of these handheld consoles like the Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, as well as like a lot of those older RF controllers, like the wireless Sega Genesis 6-button controller. We've got, the Wavebird, some accessories like the Rumble packs for the N64. They would take like a single battery. So there's a lot of use cases for this unit. Super happy with how it has turned out. This is going to be going on my shelf. Now, the only thing I would like to see is maybe a unit, like a double width unit. So this is nice and compact. However, it only holds 12 and 12. So it holds 12 double A's and 12 triple A's. And so I may end up getting a second unit. The only thing that would be nice is this fold down tray here. That if they don't make a double, double-sided unit, or double capacity unit. This fold down tray, it would be nice if this kind of was on both sides, so I could have them side by side, and then I could actually have, you know, 2 flashlights over here charging, 2 flashlights on the other side charging, with those fold downs on each side. The way it is right now, if I put 2 of these side by side, I would have to leave one of them folded up because they only fold down on that side, on the right side of it when you're looking at the unit. So that's kind of the couple drawbacks that I see with it. Overall, super happy with it. Like I said, it's not too big. It's a pretty nice form factor. I actually like it just mainly because of that sizing. You can kind of see if I put this Game Boy up to it, it's only taking about 66% of the height there. And it's a Game Boy Advance. So overall, I really do like the unit. Super happy to have it. This is going to be going on my gaming shelf next to kind of where I have my handhelds and a lot of my accessories. So super excited. If you guys are interested in picking up one of these, I will have an affiliate link as well as a discount code in the video description below. Definitely check it out. And also let me know your thoughts on the unit. And if you have one, let me know how it's been going, what the kind of the capacity of the batteries are, if you like using their kind of custom new batteries, or whether you're just using general rechargeable batteries with it.